Welcome to the Cardinal Report, your weekly 30-minute look inside the world of North Central College athletics. I'm Justin Zipser. The men's tennis team is our focus today. In just a few moments, head coach Nick DeFalco brings us up to speed on the season. But before that, let's first catch you up on the last week or so and the rest of NCC's spring athletic programs. Last Thursday, the North Central lacrosse squad rebounded nicely from its first Midwest Women's Lacrosse Conference loss of the season with a 20-7 win over Benedictine University. Gina Fisher, Samantha Kinder, and Anna Bartles each registered hat tricks in one of the team's highest-scoring games of the season. Fisher also added 10 draw controls, a new single-game program record. Earlier this week, the team was undone at the hands of Augustana, the unbeaten leaders in the MWLC. The Cards trailed the Vikings by only 1 goal at halftime, but a second-half Augie surge was too much for NCC in the 14-9 loss. Softball finished its past week 5-1, including doubleheader sweeps over Wheaton and the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Pitcher Vlasta Manja garnered 2 wins with a sub-1 ERA on the week, helping her to being named the CCIW's Pitcher of the Week. On the baseball diamond, North Central wrapped up an important week and stayed within the top 4 of the CCIW. This was much in part due to 3 wins against Illinois Wesleyan at home. Pitcher Chris Singh improved to 5-0 along the way in his 1-run complete game. The Cards most recently snuck by Roy University 10-8 on the strength of Jake Roan's 5-for-6 effort at the plate. Outdoor track and field looks strong yet again. The women finished first at the Wheaton Twilight meet late last week, many of the team's points coming from the pole vault and javelin throw. Brooke Patterson, Liz Composto, and Kelsey Trudson finished 1, 2, 3 in the vault, while Claire Taylor and Sarah Steger nabbed the top 2 spots in the javelin. Nora Ferguson was named CCIW Runner of the Week after a PR in the 800 meter, 2 minutes and 14.85 seconds. It's also the top time in the CCIW this year. The men's track and field team dominated the proceedings at the same meet, 11 wins in 20 events to nab first place in Wheaton. Runner Deontay Hackler scored wins in both the 200 and 400 meter dash, along with a 4x400 relay win with Richie Rusk, Josh Martin, and Zach Kirby. Once again, we have the men's tennis team on the show today. Nick DeFalco, head coach for the team, coming up next on the Cardinal Report.
Yes, ready. Let's go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. NCC men's tennis head coach Nick DeFalco on the couch to kick things off. Nick, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
So, second time on the Cardinal Report this year. We had you on about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and a lot of talk about how this is your first year coaching North Central. Obviously, you are well acquainted with the program, being a 4-year member of the team a couple years ago. So, how have things progressed over the last 5 or 6 weeks since the last time we saw you, both in terms of coaching, being a first-year coach, and also in terms of the team's success so far?
Sure, and it's been really a whirlwind in the past 5-6 weeks. You hit us at the peak of the season. We're having such great success with the non-conference schedule, and I think we mentioned really we're surprising ourselves how well we were executing, how much fun we were having, and we really just carried that same momentum into Hilton Head. We were on our spring break training trip and really continued to see a lot of great competition there. It was kind of like a preview we ended up having for our conference tournament, or conference schedule, I should say, that a lot of really great teams. Some of the teams we played out there could easily be one of the best teams in the CCIW. Mm-hmm. So great way to get some of those tests out of the way early on, and then we hit the ground running then in April with all the conference schedule kind of coming one after another here over the past few weeks. So we've been really trying to push ourselves to learn how do we win against these high quality opponents. And then it's really pushed me as well to become a better coach and try to say, wow, I've seen this at the private level at the clubs I've taught at. I've seen it at the high school level. Now, how do I coach them to be able to beat these kind of opponents at the college level? And you remember it from being a player, but you kind of forget now when you're at the sideline, how do I motivate them and try to teach them to be able to hit these different shots, these different strategies to be able to end up winning the match?
It definitely looked like you guys had a good time in South Carolina. I was on the team's Facebook page, and so it looked like you guys had a nice couple of walks on the beach for a couple of nights.
Yeah.
But a lot of tennis as well, and it's good to see that you guys made some progress in that regard. We always ask athletes when they transition from high school to college, what's the difference between playing tennis between those two levels? I think you're in a unique position where, as a coach, you've coached at York and you've now coaching North Central. So what are the main differences coaching between those two levels of play?
Oh, it's so different, because you could be the best player at your high school, and in your conference you have some easier matches, you have some tougher matches, and then you make it to the sectional or the state tournament, and now you see the best competition. Well, that is what college tennis is. So there's no easy gimmies anymore like you had in high school. Just being able to keep the ball in play isn't good enough anymore. And I think the greatest example of that is when you see the freshmen who come in. They're used to being kind of the big man on campus of their team. They're used to winning, using just to be able to just block the ball back and grind out points and just win because they're more consistent or better athletes. And here, you're playing people that are at the top of the game. These are the people that went to the state tournament in every state. And so there is no more gimmies. You've got to be at the top of your game and continually improving every single day.
That's a lot to take in, I guess, as an athlete and
Yeah,
as a coach as well when you're making that transition as well. One of North Central's best doubles teams has a few partners that know each other pretty well. As we take a look in this week's Cardinal Corner, it has nothing to do with tennis. For first-year head coach Nick DeFalco, getting the best out of his players is among his biggest jobs. But he doesn't have to do that much with his number 2 doubles team. It does that on its own. That's because Connor and Mason Sass are brothers.
Honestly, we've been playing together for probably 8-9 years. Never really got along too much in the tennis court until this year, which is kind of funny, but it's really fun playing with him.
We flow well together. When he goes out, I go out. We do the same thing, and we hit the same strokes. The brotherly thing we have going is that when he's on, I'm off, so we balance each other out really well.
Go, Connor!
Mason is a senior, while Connor's a freshman, making this season the only one they'll play together. The brothers were high school players at Neuqua Valley, but never shared a court.
Yeah, I mean, it's his first year. It's my last year. It's kind of a culmination of events that we're just going to play together and we're going to have fun, so it's really, really great.
This week against Carthage, the senior Mason finished up his day and joined his parents David and Christine atop the Prairie Avenue Hill
Come on, Connor.
to watch freshman brother Connor in 6 singles. All 3 are or were tennis players.
Well, it actually goes back to my grandma. She's the one who really started it all. Then my mom played, then my dad, and then me.
It makes you play a little better, but it makes you kind of nervous. You got to hit your shots. If you don't, you feel like everyone's watching you and judging you.
And judging each other isn't something the duo has a problem with.
When I'm playing with someone that I don't know, I don't feel very confident telling them what they're doing wrong. And with Mason, I feel confident. I can tell him, hey, don't hit that shot, don't do that, and it works really well together.
As the season winds down, the Sass brothers carry a 7 and 8 overall record in dual meets, including a team-high 2 conference victories. All it takes is a little brotherly love. So one of your kind of biggest points of emphasis as a new coach is kind of getting alumni and fans involved more so than maybe in years past. And you have plans for maybe an alumni tournament after the season. Just kind of give us a little bit of preview of that and maybe just kind of overarching things that you're trying to bring to this program.
Sure, and I think some of the most basic things at a fundamental level that we probably should have started years ago is just having a social media presence as a way for fans to connect, alumni connect, just other students at the school to get excited about it. Tennis, not always the marquee sport of the institution, so for them to recognize when we have these different matches and they can come out and we have seating up on the hill, which is beautiful to have that bird's eye view of the courts. So getting on the Facebook page and Twitter and things like that, putting out pictures and updates about what we're doing, success stories. I think that's a fun way to get people engaged and just informed about what we're doing here. So that's one thing I want to do, because I think a campus involvement was huge. We even tried to go to some of the different senior nights for other sports teams to try and show we're a part of the bigger athletic community at North Central, which I think is an important part about being a student athlete, is supporting the other students at North Central. And then with the alumni, we had a little bit of a breakfast that we did during homecoming week, invited some alumni back and different donors, and now May 10th we're going to be hosting an alumni tournament, which will be a really good fun cap to the season we're looking forward to.
Does that mean you're going to be playing?
If there's an odd number, I will. Although I'd like to be able to just to oversee things. You think you get to practice all the time with these guys, and you think, I've really been standing around a lot shouting orders. I haven't really been practicing that much. But if there is, I'll be happy to jump in there. We'll do kind of a doubles tournament with some current students and some alumni, so it should be a kind of end of the year party, but a new take on it with alums as well.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the tennis itself and how you guys are progressing on the courts. We've seen some up and down results from the CCIW schedule, and you talked about the trip in South Carolina, kind of preparing you for that CCIW gauntlet schedule. So you had the conference win against Illinois Wesleyan, a monkey off your back. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then just what that was like, seeing the program get that win, first time in a couple of years, and getting that W.
That's tremendous. And again, I've been a little bit removed from the program, just a fan for the past few years. But I've followed on different articles written. I've seen the results come through, and we've had some great matchups, but you just couldn't get over that hurdle. And again, the competition is just so great in this conference, one of the best in the country. And I think that's pretty universal for most sports. But to kind of go through the emotions, you'd have to ask the players what they thought. But as a coach, it was a roller coaster the whole time. Here we're after doubles, we're up 2-1. Then we lose the first 3 matches in singles. All of a sudden, we're down. And then Mason has a tough match at the beginning, but he comes out and wins 11 games in a row. Then all of a sudden, we're only down 3-4. And then we split sets at 5 and at 6. So we're going into this, and then Jesse has a tiebreaker. It was this constant wave of emotion the whole time. We're able to pull it out in the 3rd set for both 5 and 6 singles with Jesse and Connor to take the match 5-4. So a very emotional match, at least for me. And I know that the other guys, the seniors, really thought that was a great way to cap out at the end of their year, was to have that big win over Wesleyan.
All right, well, we'll continue to talk with Coach DeFalco a little bit more about the team after this quick break. You're watching the Cardinal Report.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
TCR is back in action. We're still talking NCC men's tennis with head coach Nick DeFalco. And Coach DeFalco, let's talk a little bit about the season ending here, the last couple of matches of the season. We had our cameras this week at your match against Carthage, which was a 9-0 loss, but really you took each of those matches deep into each set and showed a lot of fight, which I guess is when you're maybe outmatched talent-wise, that's all you can ask for is the fact that your guys are going to continue to play and play and play.
Yeah, and these guys know, just as I do, on paper, a lot of these top teams in the conference, and Carthage being one of them, they're going to be a better player on paper. They're going to have a more stellar resume, tournament success, and things like that. But our goal, always the philosophy is, if you can just work your hardest, grind out every single ball, don't show any negative energy, keep your head up, be positive, run every ball down, attack the net, just keep doing everything that you want to do, play your game, and whether you win or lose, you can be happy with the result at the end of it. And we were close. First doubles was in there, I think at 4-3, 5-4 at points in the match was very close. 3 doubles was all the way to 6-8, almost won that one. It just could have closed out at the end there. Connor had a very close second set, so a couple matches go a different way, and it could be a lot better result than 9-0. It's sometimes deceiving with those box scores, as you don't get to see the individual breakdowns and the points. But you got to close it out, and that's what we're going to keep working on. And we have a great base with a couple really great freshmen that have got to see, what the conference is like, and they get to build on that throughout the summer and the fall, and hopefully continue success with the new recruits next year.
So you have Milliken coming up next to kind of wrap up the regular season. What are kind of the points of emphasis coming into this last dual meet?
Yeah, and it's going to be, being in their first year, it's a team we haven't seen a lot. So the seniors have no scouting report for us on what they can expect or what they've seen or who's playing what position, things of that nature. And we got a little bit of a preview at our fall conference tournament. But you're playing a lot of different teams, so you don't get to see the full dual lineup. It's a team that's going to be very consistent. They're going to play a little bit of an untraditional. They haven't had time to, I think, really bring in a lot of top-tier recruits. So it's going to be a little bit different pace than what we're used to, which sometimes gets in your head because it's a very mental game as well. And you're someone who plays a little bit slower than you, doesn't hit with the same pace you're used to. It's tough to create your own pace and just get over that mental hurdle and say, I'm the better player. I'm going to win this match. It's okay. Whether I'm winning or losing or if it's tight, just play your game plan and you'll be fine.
And as you mentioned, Milliken, this is the first year that has a tennis program this season, so that's now 7 CCIW schools in the conference. So that kind of changes up the way the tournament works, the postseason tournament. Explain the differences from year to year here.
Sure. The one thing that's one of the greatest things is now, since we have 7, we have an automatic qualifier to go to the national team tournament. So as before, you had to get an at-large bid with 6. Now with 7, whoever wins will get that automatic bid. They've also changed it to have, instead of having all the teams go to the conference tournament for the weekend, they have the first round is a home match, so kind of like a play-in to the conference tournament. So the 1 will get a bye, and then the 2, the 3, and the 4 will host the 7, 6, and 5 respectively. And if you win, you advance to that 4-team conference tournament. If you lose, then your season's done. So unfortunately, there's no back draw now, but really pushes you to be prepared for that first round match and try to start off as quick as possible.
Well, the CCIW schedule certainly prepares you for that lack of back draw and the no safety net, essentially. As we talked about with Coach DeFalco earlier, North Central recently won in thrilling fashion against Illinois Wesleyan, the team's first conference victory in about 3 years. We've heard from Coach. Now let's hear from some players in this week's What's the Word?
It came right down to the wire. I think 5 and 6 singles. I was playing 5 singles, 6 singles, and we won 2 of the doubles. So we ended up winning 5-4. And I just remember coming off the court, and first conference win we've had, I think, in 3 years. So it was really unbelievable. It's kind of a sigh of relief, but we worked our butts off to get there. So it was a great experience to finally get one under our belt.
It was really nervous, going in there. There was expectations that I was supposed to play, and I was supposed to play well. If we didn't, then we would lose. So a lot of nerves going on. But the doubles match we won in a tiebreaker, which was really big, and we ended up playing they stacked their team, so we played one of their best players, and it's nice coming out and beating them. And then singles, a lot of pressure, went to the 3rd set, and I was the last one off the court for the 5-4 win. It's nice being the last one. You get your whole team there cheering for you, and that's really a difference maker. Everyone was cheering.
So talking with Josh Roding and Rustam Sani, last time we had you guys on, they were kind of preaching the fact that you had a little bit more preseason in the fall as far as workouts go, and maybe building up cardio workouts. So have you seen that kind of workout from many months ago kind of pay off here in the latter months of the season?
Perfect example was in yesterday's match against Carthage. During one of the changeovers, Josh, who was playing number 2 singles, he turns to me and said, "God, thank God I've been working out so much this year, because I could never hang with this guy if I didn't." And he is, playing number 2, you're playing, the part of the first doubles team always, you're playing some of the best opponents in the country. And for him to say that, I just laughed, because it's true. This guy is working him around the court. They're running furiously. And if you're not in top shape, you're going to get beat. You're just going to get outlasted. And it doesn't take much against a good opponent to realize that, to catch on when they're taking a lot of time between changeovers. They're huffing and puffing in between points. They're taking those deep breaths, putting their hand to their head and thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to get through this? And they pick it up. Again, it's a very, very mental sport. It's a chess game out there. And when you see your opponent starting to get tired like that, now I got him. I'm going to execute. So it was great to hear Josh say that. I know some of the other guys. Mason, he must run 3 miles every tennis match. So to know we had all those workouts in the fall and have the open gyms throughout the winter, it was great to see how that's paying off now in the spring.
And when you get tired like that, that can lead to some maybe unforced errors on your side. So I saw a couple of those on both sides of the court yesterday against Carthage. Is that all with fatigue, or is that mental as well, unforced errors?
Both, because when you get fatigued, you start to stop using your legs, right? So you start standing up more, you start reaching more, so you're not running and getting low for the shot. So that's where the fatigue kicks in. And then you also get tentative, you get tight because you don't want to lose, and you're just saying to the other person in your head, you're going, please mess up. Please mess up, please mess up. And they're not going to, they're going to keep hitting the ball back. So I think the more you get battle tested in those things, like at Illinois Wesleyan, we had those 2-3 setters. If you didn't have the physical capacity to play in that 3rd set, you'd get beat. Also, if you don't have the mental capacity, you're going to get beat. So it really is a well-rounded game, and the chess analogy couldn't be more appropriate. But those workouts, they definitely help, especially in those 3rd setters. You got to play the full thing out. So that was great to see us dig our heels in and just be able to attack it.
Season's not over yet, obviously, but you still have 7 dual meet wins this season, which is the most since the 2011 season, predating your time at North Central. So first-year coach, most wins in a couple years, and dual meets, season not over yet again. But, how proud of yourself or how proud of your team are you knowing that what you've accomplished so far this year?
Yeah, and for the most part, it's the same team as last year. Obviously, you lose a couple people, you gain a couple freshmen in, but for the most part, the core is still there. And so I really just wanted them to feel pride that it's the same team, but you don't have to have the same result, right? We can build around each other, we can get motivated, we can have a lot more fun than we've had in the past. and I think that we can really do something special. And they really embraced that, and they went with it from really day one and made my job a lot easier. I'm taking a very small percentage of the credit because they're the ones out there coaching themselves on changeovers, talking to themselves in between points, and they're the ones that have to execute. So my little bit of wisdom and motivational can only help them so much. They have to do it themselves. So I was really excited and been so thrilled to see how much fun they've been having in the process.
Well, good thoughts, Coach, rather. We appreciate you stopping by. Thanks.
Thank you.
We're taking a quick break, but when we return, we're joined by sibling doubles partners that are mixing up young and veteran talent in preparation for the CCIW Championships.
Today is Saturday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. Senior Mason Sass and freshman Connor Sass on the couch to help wrap things up on this episode. We have Connor on the left and Mason on the right. Brothers, obviously, as we saw in the story from earlier in the episode, so we know all about you guys playing together for doubles and such. But Connor, I'll start with you. CCIW Player of the Week as a freshman. Much to do with your performance at Illinois Wesleyan, kind of coming through with that last number 6 singles win. Battling back from a first set loss. You came back with the second set, and from there on out, you really looked good in that match. So, as a freshman, what's kind of been your key to success so far?
As a freshman, it's hard coming into a college level and playing at this caliber of a team. It's a lot of nerves. You got to get that out of the way. That's the first step, and you just got to get to yourself and say it's just a tennis match. It doesn't mean much, and the more you think that, the better it is. But it's definitely it's hard.
And Mason, over to you. As a senior, you're one of 4 seniors on the team, and as you know, Coach DeFalco was talking about, not a lot of change from last year to this year, but the results are so much different. From a player's point of view, can you explain why the results are so different?
I don't know particularly. I mean, we have a lot of senior leadership on this team. Myself, Rustam, Josh, Jesse. Players who've been here, done that, seen the conference, and we know what we're doing, and we really want to make a statement for our senior years. We kind of it shined down upon us. Oh, this is the last time I'm going to be playing tennis on these courts in my entire life. So that's been kind of the theme for the entire team, and we set that earlier in the season that we just want to work hard. I mean, some of these teams are going to be really good, but we're going to play them, and we're not going to lay down and die, and we're going to run around, and we're going to try to set a tone with new coach and new program. We're going to try and show some recruits that we can play and that we want to build up the program.
Talking with Jesse Adamson after the Carthage dual meet, he kind of said that this is almost laying the groundwork, laying the foundation for future years. Maybe you get 1 conference win or 2 conference wins this year. Next year, maybe 2 or 3. Can you expound on that a little bit and what it's like to maybe get the ball rolling on this run back to success?
Oh, sure. I mean, we've got some good recruits coming in, and we're going to continue to build off that. We got great young talent on the team with Connor and Alex and Oliver as well. So that's something we can really build off of. And a lot of the other conference teams are losing some players that really have made them great for the past couple of years. So there's a lot of big shoes to be filled, and why not us?
So Connor, back over to you. Let's go back to your trip to Hilton Head, South Carolina, and just kind of the fact that you guys are in a foreign state, as it were, not obviously Illinois or Naperville, kind of out of your element. What does that do for team bonding, especially as a freshman, getting to know all these guys, maybe aside from your brother, but the rest of the teammates?
I thought Hilton Head was so much fun. You know, you get to know someone when you live with them, and it made me love the team that much more. And we really bonded. We did everything together. We went out to eat together. We hung out together. We watched the March Madness tournament together, and we played well in Hilton Head, and we were always there for each other. And I think that's the best part. Is no matter how bad someone's doing, we're there cheering them on and hoping they get better, and we're never abandoning one another. I like that.
Coach DeFalco said earlier that the spring break trip kind of helps you prepare for the conference schedule, and once you get back to Naperville, you're kind of off the ball running immediately against the CCIW opponents. So in your first year, what have you kind of learned about what the CCIW has to offer from a tennis standpoint?
They're real good. It's hard playing at that caliber, like I said, but it makes you a better player, playing with players that are better than you. So I feel that going into college, I was not as good as I am now. You know, you play more with better players, makes you a better player, and I feel it really worked, yeah.
Yeah, coming from high school, you both played at Neuqua Valley. You have a younger brother playing there as well. So kind of this is a kind of a way of life for you guys. Mason, over to you. I mean, as a senior, you kind of have a good eye for being able to tell what works, what doesn't work when you're watching your teammates. From where you guys started the season to where you are now, maybe what's been the biggest progression, do you think, as a team?
As a team, the biggest progression, let's see. Overall, just working hard, like I said it before, and then building off of skills that we had before that maybe we didn't know we had before. Mm-hmm. And practices, really working hard on something that we really instead, after every match we talk, we go around the van usually, or around the circle, and we say, what could you have done better? What were you trying to do? And what'd you do well? And we take that into consideration. We decide, okay, we're going to do that for practice next week. And Coach DeFalco's really made it a point to work on some of the stuff that we've said. And as the season rolls around, rolls by, we've come to notice that we've really worked hard on a lot of those things that we struggled with maybe at the beginning of the season or years past. And it's showing because we're playing hard. We've got conference win, hopefully wins, but. It's moving in the right direction.
And Connor, I mean, obviously, when you go around the circle and reflect kind of on the previous matches, maybe what's something that maybe you pointed out to yourself, and maybe someone else pointed out to you earlier on the season that you think that you've really been able to work on and succeed on improving that type of skill set?
In the beginning of the year, I had a lot of struggles going to the net and finishing points out. And as the year progressed, Mason and I, we got together, we talked and said that's probably the most important thing in doubles. So we started executing that a little more. I started practicing on that a little more. And it's clearly been working. We've been winning some matches that we really, on paper, we shouldn't have won. So I think that's probably the most important thing for me is working on those volleys and finishing the point.
What do you prefer, singles or do you prefer doubles playing with Mason?
Playing with Mason, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I like playing with him, but I get on his nerves. He gets on my nerves because I'm comfortable talking to him about what he does wrong, and he does some stuff wrong, believe it or not. And we're really comfortable together, but I prefer playing doubles with him. We get along well on the court.
So Mason's not infallible, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging part about tennis? Is it just the length of the matches? Is it the movement? Is it the mental aspect? From your point of view, what's the most challenging
For me,
part?
by far, it's the mental aspect.
Yeah.
In a shot that requires such technicality and just like perfection with every shot, it's easy to let it get inside your head if you're missing because a centimeter out is still out. It's not close anymore. Mm-hmm. That's an out ball. So you have to be perfect. You have to get balls in, and it's really easy to get on yourself. I know myself. I sometimes get angry, and Connor too. It's just really hard to keep yourself in tune and perfect. Because if you let your opponent know that you're pissed off or you're struggling, then they're going to attack on that. So a mental game is definitely something that everyone, universal, needs to be strong in order to play well at tennis.
I guess that's part of what Coach DeFalco has been preaching in his first year. Guys, it's been a lot of fun watching you guys play this season. We wish you best of luck on Milliken the rest of the season. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
We're all out of time for this episode. Thanks for watching, but be sure to check out the rest of this season of the Cardinal Report archived in full at nctv17.com. I'm Justin Zipser. We'll see you next time.